Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is the Car Crazy Guy from Santa Clarita, and today I'm going to show you kind of a radical change I've made. And if you look in the garage, you'll notice there's an empty hole here, and if you look over here where my car would normally be parked, my Honda, there's an empty hole here. And in the garage, of course, remaining is the fabulous Z06. And I'm telling you, I'm never getting rid of this car. It's going to be a long time. I'll probably have this thing probably another 5 years, and who knows, maybe the mid-engine Corvette will be my next vehicle. But for now, this is going to stay in the garage for a long time. Looking forwards to getting it paid off and stop the gigantic payments that I have on this, which, in case you're wondering, are $1,055 for 84 months. And right now I've got approximately 60 months to go because I've had it 2 years, and that is as of a few days ago. So you're wondering, what did I get? And you look over here and there's nothing here. I've got one car here, but I did make a change. And that change is, without further ado, the 2018 VW Golf R. And this one is in the Oryx White. It's got some new wheels, and some of my previous subscribers probably recognize this car. However, I had a red one, which is torn out of red. 2016, and I sold that car because I just had to have this. I could not pass it up. So I sold that car and I sold my GT350, and I just rushed out to buy this guy, and I've never looked back. So with that said, I had a soft spot in my heart for this car. I really wanted a Focus RS, and then I realized the Focus RS is just so outdated. It has no active safety systems, and I'll tell you something, I actually tried to buy a Honda Civic Type R, and unfortunately, as most of you know, that car is marked up like crazy. Now, I did find a dealership that was selling one. It was in a kind of a gray color, and they wanted $1,000 over sticker, and they had about $2,800 worth of their, I call it, useless accessories, which are some visors on the door, paint protection film on the edges, and locks, door locks, and just things that they call Pro Pack. And you know, they probably pay a couple $100 tops for this stuff, and they want, you know, a fortune. It had some GPS unit on it, and I almost bought it, but I thought, you know what, I really love the Accord's active safety systems, and this car has all that, where the Civic Type R and the Focus RS do not. And since I'm not exactly a kid anymore, I'll share with you my age. I'm almost 56, and to tell you the truth, this is the grown-ups hot hatch right here. The GTI is one step below this, but this car has all-wheel drive, a 2-liter, making 292 horsepower and 280 foot-pounds of torque, which is quite a bit less than the Focus RS and a little less than the Civic Type R. But this car is actually faster than the Civic Type R, although I don't think it has the edgy handling that the Civic has, and the Focus RS as well. However, I really like this car, and I like its technology, and for 2018 they've really upped their game on this. VW has come out with the digital dash. That's very similar to Audi's. And what else did they do? Oh, they also added, they went from a 6.5-inch infotainment screen to an 8-inch. And in the front, of course, you've got some new headlights, and it also has some new DRLs as well. Let's see if I can actually display that for you. It might be a bit bright on camera. So here we go. And you can see the blink. I'll blink it a couple more times. Those are normally white, but gone are the actual, I think it was a radar sensor, which was down here. And now they've incorporated it into the VW logo. Clean look. Now, finding this car was hard. I had a very difficult time, just like last time, and excuse the sirens here. I live near a hospital, unfortunately. But I knew that going into that. But anyways, back to the vlog here. I had a very difficult time buying one. This is actually my second Golf R that I bought this week. And you're probably wondering, why would I buy 2 of them? Well, the first one I bought was that beautiful lapis blue. I mean, it looked awesome. I looked it over very carefully because seem to have a bad luck buying cars that are damaged. And after I brought it home, I couldn't do anything with it. I looked it over at the dealership, brought it home. It was in the evening. Next day, I got to doing my usual detail on it, and I found a scratch that was literally almost 4 inches long, which is right down, right about here somewhere in the rocker, which is that rough area below the door. And oh man, I was seriously upset and very disappointed in it. And in addition to that, and I knew this going into it, on the passenger side, in the wheel well, not the usual chipping of paint, but right in this area here, on the actual fender, there was what looked like kind of like a stalactite. So I just took my finger and it fell off, and I have a picture of it too. It left basically an unpainted part on the bumper about the size of I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 pen points. It was pretty sizable. Could have been fixed with touch-up paint, but the real kicker was the damage on the rocker, and man. So that following day after I discovered this, which was basically the following day after I bought it, 2 days later, I contacted this dealership, excuse me, talked to the general manager. Luckily for me, he was a complete car guy. And I told him, I said, I'm not here to take this thing back because I don't want it anymore. I definitely want another one. I just don't want a damaged one, and I don't want a repaired one. Now, if it gets into an accident, so be it. It'll get repaired. I'm not gonna say no and get another car, provided it isn't serious damage, it's just cosmetic stuff. Anyways, he finally agreed to me, and he put up absolutely no fight. I have to tell you, this dealership was in Alhambra. It's called Alhambra Volkswagen. This is Alhambra, California. That's near Pasadena, for those of you who don't know. Awesome guy. He was in his late 30s, and he totally took it back. He basically ripped up the paperwork, maybe signed something about a mutual agreement of return, and then I was on the hunt for another one. Guys, here's the original car I bought in Alhambra, California. A beautiful lapis blue, and in this shot, it's where the paint flaked off in the fender well, leaving an open spot. The worst part here is in the driver's side lower rocker panel, a 4-inch long gouge that my rag caught. I did not originally see. Luckily for me, their general manager unwound this deal, opening the doors for me purchasing the white one in this video. And then there was another blue one in the City of Industry, and that's further beyond San Gabriel Valley. I think that's pretty near where the Miller Brewing plant is, although I've never been there. And I passed that one up. I didn't even go see it. I went to the next dealership, which was out in Riverside, California, which is about between 80 and 90 miles from my house. And as you can see, it's from Riverside VW. And I bought this one. Wow. This is what you get when you live near a major street. Anywho's, I bought this guy. And you know what? I looked it over very carefully. Even the salesman helped me. And I did find one thing wrong with it at the time of purchase. And right about here, there was a very, very tiny wrinkle. And I didn't say nothing to the dealership. I bought it because I knew if I turned this one down, I don't even know if I'd find another one. The DSGs are very difficult to find. And by the way, that's what I bought. I didn't want a manual. I know, save the manuals. But I wanted a DSG because in California, stop and go traffic. And I enjoy the crisp shifts of this transmission. It's pretty amazing. If you haven't driven one, you should. But I had that little ding fixed by a paintless dent removal guy that I've used in the past. He's an awesome guy. And I'll also put his link in the description as well. Anyways, he took care of that for me. I'm super happy with it. The only thing I found after delivery was, and this is more of a manufacturing defect, and I'm pretty sure if I really wanted to, on the rocker, on this side, and it's gonna be right about there somewhere. You can't really see it because it's difficult to show you, but there is actually a small puddle of clear, very tiny, about the size of your tip of your finger. But it's not anything that's gonna crack or fall off. It's just a little excess. I certainly hope it doesn't fall off. Well, anyways, I think it could probably, with a paint correction, it could actually be wet sanded smoothly and never show up again, but I'm not messing with it. If there's any issues with it in the future, then if it has to go to into paint repair, that's so be it. That's what's gonna happen. But other than that, it was an awesome car. There was no markup on this car. The sticker was $42,200. They had originally had about a $5,000 markup, and I told the salesperson that I'm not going to pay that. I said, if you're going to sell it at MSRP, I'm a buyer for this guy. And they said, yeah, absolutely. Anyways, I'll put the dealership's information and the salesperson's information also in the description. That's at Riverside Volkswagen, Raymond Block. Check out his reviews on Yelp. I made one as well. Amazing guy, great work. Love this guy. So he did a great job helping me out, and I got this thing, and I had to drive far. I don't think anything happened on the way home. I think there's a little pit in the headlight, a little tiny thing. No, you know, what am I going to do? It's nothing noticeable. And other than that, it's a beautiful car. Let's take a look at the inside of it. The inside, it came with these rubberized mats that say Golf. I wish it said Golf R. You can see the brushed aluminum foot pedals there. And you can also see the digital cockpit, as Volkswagen calls it. And I'll give you a shot of it when it's actually running. It does have lighted sills, and they're blue, but you can barely see them. They also have them also on the door panels. Let's see if we can even get that to show up. It's probably right about there, all the way across. Looks great. The back of the vehicle is actually pretty roomy. I wouldn't call it class leading, but it looks pretty good. It's got a lot of leg room for what it is. And the perforated seats, before on my old Golf R, didn't have the whites showing through on the perforations. It was just pretty much black. And it's got rear vents as well. And in the hatchback, of course, it has VW's clever latch. You just literally just open that like that. Camera pops out when you put it in reverse, and of course I have everything that they gave me, which is something I never want to put on this guy. And the original carpeted mats come with it. Roadside assistance. It's got these blocks back here, these guys, and you put them together and basically they stick to this surface. And this is called the Volkswagen Cargo Protection System. So those are the options it had. Other than that, it's I don't think you could get any loaded. Oh yes, one more thing. We have a trunk net. So I didn't have to buy anything for this. The only thing I did to it is I put an LED in here. That was the only LED missing out of this vehicle. Although I don't think it's bright enough. So on order is, let me get that shut. I have Diodynamics bulbs coming. Like, it doesn't really want to shut unless you give it a little push. So we'll see if they're brighter or not. If they are, I'll just return that back to AutoZone. But overall, it's a really beautiful car. And the only difference here, like I said, the main differences are the front and rear styling. The transmission now is a 7-speed dual clutch versus last year's 2015 to 2017 6-speed dual clutch. You have the digital cockpit, now off of course, and the infotainment system, which is much larger. Great system. The seating looks a little bit different. Still has the R on the back rest there. Oh, and then of course, this is something that has changed. I guess if you have an early build 7 or 18, this thing doesn't open. So on mine, voila, opens up. And then if you pull it up and push it down, it ratchets. So you can ratchet it there, although I probably don't know how to use it right. No USB ports in here at all. Only one inside this cubby here, the black one under the controls for the HVAC. So, and then of course it has a very nice leather wrapped steering wheel. And I guess the wheels have changed. They call these English Towns. Some people hate them, some people love them. I happen to like it. I think it looks great. Got the black mirror caps. I don't plan really to do anything to this. I don't even plan on putting that front license plate on. If I get pulled over and ticketed, it's going to be held on with Velcro. There's no way I'm drilling holes in my vehicle. So that's California for you. They want to make you put the front plate on, and I'm not going to do it. Sue me. Anyways, And as I've said this many times before, I'll see if I can get some driving videos. I do have a GoPro. So now this vehicle has about 200 miles on it. I've driven it that much. So I'm a little sad that there is no sunroof. You'd think they would have one, but I guess in Europe they do. It's more of like a panel roof that slides over the top of the car. But yeah, the color is beautiful. I did notice some blotchiness in certain sunlight or certain lighting conditions. It doesn't really bother me. It's hard to see anyways, but let's see if we can get a shot of the paint. It almost has it's a very pearlescent type of paint. Has lots of, you can see tiny little specks of pink and green if you really look. I don't know if it's visible here. Of course, you have the parking sensors. There's 4 on the front and 4 on the rear. Dual exhaust. I think it's awesome. So I think performance on the and I don't know if this is to do with the manual or the automatic, but it says 4.60 to 60. That's pretty damn fast for a 4-cylinder, and a little bit faster than Civic Type R, and I think it's pretty much on par, if not a little bit quicker than the Focus RS. Now, the problem with this car is that DSG is so hard to find. I was lucky I found it. As a matter of fact, the one in industry, I called the person because now a friend of a friend's looking for one, and that one is gone. I found one in Ventura. The salesman took pictures and then stated it was scratched, so I had to pass. And then there's one in Santa Maria, which is about 130 something miles from here, and that's just a bit far for me to drive. I had a friend that probably lived around the corner from this dealership, and I used to go visit him. It was at least a 2-hour drive, and it was far. A nice drive though. You go along the coastline a little bit, and it's near Solvang, so yeah, I'm not going that far. Now there's like far and few in between, and just a whole bunch of manuals available. But yes, I bought 2 Golf Rs within a course of a couple of days. Probably, I think it was 2 to 3 days. So I'm glad to have gotten out of that one. I am kind of a white car fan, so I love the white colors, and I like this because this one here is unique to the Golf R. It's just not a flat white, it's a pearlescent metallic, so it looks beautiful. The headlights actually have become LED, and they swivel too. So when you turn the steering wheel, you get the input from the wheel, and it moves your beam pattern to where you're turning. So it's a really great car. I'm very happy with it, and let me go ahead and interject some interior shots of the technology so you can see it. Check that out. You can actually put the maps right between the 2 gauges. You can also, with this button down here, you can hit that button and your gauges become larger, or hit it again and it reveals a little bit more of the map, the infotainment. If you go to nav, if you tap on the maps, it will transfer the maps from here, because you lose that on here. You can't have them at the both at the same time, which I'm a little disappointed with, but you got it down here. And of course you've got your radio, you got your media, in this case, nothing connected, your phone, nothing connected, your voice commands.
Pardon?
Nav. You also have Apple CarPlay. I don't have that connected right now. And this is actually really cool. You have some performance gauges, and it shows, I guess right now I don't have this thing warmed up enough to show the, I guess that's the oil temperature on the left, and the water temperature on the right. So it shows your boost gauge as well, and it'll give it a rev up here. I like this. I always keep this on, and I keep the nav in the center here. So here's the DSG. And overall, it's a beautiful car. Well, I hope you like this. I'm going to try to hold on to this one a lot longer than the last ones. So down the road, I plan on buying another truck, but I'm gonna probably buy something used, and I'm definitely gonna use that as kind of my, as I would call it, a beater car. So here's some interior shots. with that said, I thank you for stopping by. I thank you for subscribing. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up and subscribe as well. I'm at in the 1,700 range of subscribers. I'm really looking forward to hitting 2,000. At some point, there will probably be a subscriber giveaway. Although I'm not sure how to implement that, but I certainly will have to talk to a few YouTuber friends who have done this in the past so I can do it correctly and fairly. So, guys, take care. Once again, the Car Crazy Guy from Santa Clarita, and I will see you on the next one. Take her easy.